one hell of a light. It's like, I think I'll either be standing this side. No, I know why she was stood over this side. Yeah. There's no light. Hey, go this side. We okay?
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Ready to rock and roll? Okay. Some of you I know, some of you don't. Basically, I work with some equipment that analyses people's stress levels and the effect on their health. But I've basically been in health and wellness for donkey's years, basically. But over the last couple of years particularly, some certain things have come to my attention. I've been working with magnetic technologies, and that's highlighted a few things. Now obviously, the particular, oh god, here we go, technology in me. Is it just the right click?
The middle on the
Back.
back? Yeah.
No. Okay, so the particular episode, so I've got 4 subjects. So if you start going, you can go, wake up. Okay, so I'm not about to delve into depth into each of these. In most cases, I'm going to give like a personal story because there's so much data on each of these topics now. I could tread in some very dangerous territory, and I'm sure each of you, if you've got comments, please give them. Okay. I'm not doing very well with this, am I?
Now hold on, I have to change the audio for a second.
Oh, okay. So actually,
For you to play your video. Cool.
it should just go automatic. Okay. Okay. Personal health, personal responsibility.
What will your last 10 years look like? Will you be quick enough for a game of tag with your grandchild? Strong enough to embrace every moment? Will you grow old with vitality? Or get old with disease? It's time to decide. The average Canadian will spend their last 10 years in sickness. Change your future at makehealthlast.ca.
I think it's a really potent video, especially doing the work I do. So many people I meet go, well, I'm getting in my 60s, I've got some pains. Oh, I know I'm going to be like that. There is no reason. You have a choice, but your choices have to be made early in life. Now, hold on a second. I'm going to play this because it all revolves around the magnetic fields on the planet. And I'm sure, like many of you here, I was very much in, really? I can't see it. How does that really affect me? Until I saw this. Because you and what you do and what you think affects the magnetic frequency on the earth. Okay.
Almost universally, ancient texts and traditions have reminded us that we are connected. They said that we are one, that we are part of our world, that we're part of one another, that we're part of the earth and the changes in the earth. In the last years of the 20th and now the first years of the early 21st century, science is now giving us that reason for our logical mind to make the connection, to see how we're related and how we influence the world, and how by honoring that connection through our hearts, we literally have the power to influence the very fields of this planet to sustain life in the world, sustain the health and the healing and the well-being of our bodies. And it's all about the magnetic fields of the earth. Where this really came into focus was around the events of September 11th, 2001. It During that time, the United States has two satellites. They're called GOES, G-O-E-S, Geosynchronous Environmental Satellites, I believe is what they're called. One position in the northern hemisphere, one position in the southern hemisphere. And the role of these satellites is to measure the magnetic fields of the Earth and send back readings every 30 minutes. And those readings normally fall within a certain range of data that scientists are relatively used to seeing. Well, it was in September of 2001 that scientists began to see some readings that were off the map, just off the scale compared to what they had seen in the past. And they said, well, what's happening? What is it that could be influencing the magnetic fields of the entire planet to such a degree that we're seeing these big spikes that our satellites are sending back? We've never seen these before. They overlaid the data from the satellites onto a calendar of months and days, and lo and behold, what they found is that the spike was occurring precisely during the time of September 11th, 2001, and even more precisely that the first spike occurred 15 minutes after the first plane hit the first tower in the World Trade Center. Now, the reason this is so important to a scientist is because for 300 years, our science has been based on two false assumptions. The first false assumption is that everything is separate from everything else. That what happens in one place has no effect on what happens anywhere else. And if it looks like it does, it's only a coincidence. The second false assumption is that our inner experiences, thought, feeling, emotion, and belief have no effect on the world beyond our bodies. Based on those two false assumptions that have been accepted for 300 years by scientists, I can see why there would be a disconnect when they're looking at magnetic fields of the Earth spiking precisely the moment the human emotion of the planet is focused on a disaster. This led to a series of studies, and the bottom line of the studies is this. What they found is that it is human emotion, specifically the magnetic fields produced by the human heart during certain kinds of emotion, that now our document is extending far beyond our bodies into the physical world, and now to such a degree that our satellites hundreds of miles above the surface are able to pick these up.
What about that? Then you go, aha. You think about when people talk about getting together and doing meditations globally, then it can impact the world. To me, that was a huge aha for me. So, but going back into that subject, the first he actually went up for a total flight time of 1 hour 48 minutes, and in which time he lost 85% bone density, extreme anxiety to the point he never recovered, and he committed suicide at the age of 37. We need the Earth's magnetic field to survive. So I'm not going to keep on. This is like they're just all at the beginning, I'm afraid. Home now, home to what we remembered. I'm sure we all had this. Your own gardens, toys out of wood, woolly blankets. company called Niken, do the magnetic technologies, and because of their whole way of working is, these are our partner, and again, it's about awareness. We're talking about cellular phones. How many of you use a phone still here? After just 15 minutes, look at the radiation. That's what you're doing to your body. For those that stick it in their pocket, up here, down here, men, worst. Think next time. Every time you have the phone on you, this is what you're doing. You're affecting your magnetic field. So, as I say, I work with Niken, and this is how I've come to learn, and I'm going to just sharing my knowledge with you today. As you can see, I'm trying to cover millions of subjects, but I want to go just temporarily, before I touch on this one, I want to show you the effects of your cell phone on you. Does someone actually have one switched on? I can borrow if mine's switched off. Alright, I'll borrow you then. Okay. Want to come up here? Alright. I'll take that for a minute from you. Put it there. Okay. Just want to pop your arm out. Alright. So we'll just, I just want to see. So just, obviously, just press up against. Okay? Yeah, pretty strong. Not bad.
Not really.
But not bad at all. Okay? Your little cell phone in the other hand. Just hold it up to your heart. Alright? Now put the hand up. Okay? What do you think is going to happen?
You should go wobbly.
Nothing. That's what you're doing when you carry your cell phone. You are completely destroying the magnetic field. Now, if I pop you back on a pair of nice insoles with magnetic technologies in them.
Can I take them home with me?
You've already got some, you cheeky sod. So again, you can hold the phone. Now put your arm out. Alright? Scary, huh? How scary is that? Literally. So what it's doing is restoring your magnetic field. Keep the phone away from you. Alright? We'll come back to those in a bit. So, obviously I work with stress. So what I'm trying to do is give you the big picture, what's happening to your magnetic fields. Who you are. Are you strong? Are you weak? What are the influences? What are the problems? So yes, yeah, we've got EMS, we know. We've got all the external influences that we haven't got a clue, half of it, what is happening to us. I moved into Cowes, some of you know, right opposite the BT exchange. I had to move in a hurry, didn't really evaluate what I was doing. And from the day I moved in, I've consistently had issues with anxiety and heart racing. So I know I've got to move. So, probably most of us in this room. Oh no, actually it's quite calm energy here this evening. So just to kind of like show you, I started doing a couple of you earlier. This is a biopulsar reflexograph, and it picks up the pulse points and the meridians in your body, and shows the brain parameters. It also shows then the key organs and the key skeletal points. And I'm sure there's, like Adam will tell you. In fact, you had one as well, haven't you? Yeah, so. Now this shows, so basically it does it by graph and by colour. And low energies are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, pink, white up the top. Don't want to see those. And also the key energy points, or chakras, however you'd like to call them. In a perfect world, and there was actually, yours was quite close after you've been walking through the woods. It's brilliant. Actually really highlighted it. You want straight lines on the green line, and that comes this lovely green. And you were really close to it actually, so it was lovely to see. So that's in an ideal world. Reality is, that's what most of them are like that I see. Utter chaos. So literally, you can see, now if you look along the top, that's the brain areas. And you've got this pink, red, pink and purple up the top here. That is severe stress up the top. But what's happened, because the mind is in such severe stress, the rest of the body's gone into stress. So it's complete agitation. All right? So every time you're in a stress mode, you're creating your body into anxiety. And what happens then? In comes the sickness. I get people coming to see me who believe they have a serious illness, because that's the way Western medicine works. But actually when we look at it, you can see where the emotional blocks are, and I haven't got time obviously to go into that today, but what I want to do, the first impact is that's obviously a body in crisis. So, this particular was me. This was one of my, oh my God, having a really bad day, sat opposite my BT exchange, and I actually thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was scared to hell. Now luckily, I've been already involved with technology. Sorry about this. And there's like a little bigger seat full of magnets, full of far infrared. And I looked at it and thinking, what can I do with that? Right, and I literally wrapped it around myself. And I went and lay down, and I could physically feel my heart rate drop, because it was restoring my natural calm. And after 1 hour wrapped up in this, as you can see, all the lines have started to go straight, and we've got a predominance of the blue in the centre. So, we've got emotional stress, and people don't realise how important this is and how we need to get it under control, because stress is a major issue now. More and more people and more sickness are coming through stress than anything else. But unfortunately, we've got into a mentality that says, I'm sick, we need a pill. Instead of going, actually, what's causing my stress? What is causing my sickness? So, before I touch on that, I'd like to actually just show you, going back to my little pair of these magic feet, as I call them. And somebody else like just to step up and be a volunteer. Yes. You're going, oh my God, what am I going to do? Okay, so same thing. You pop your hands out like this, okay? And put one on top, and then I'm going to push down. You can push up, okay? So, all right. No, sorry, doesn't work, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Now I get a lot of people with fibromyalgia that come to see me, and they literally have their arms go to here. Now, it is now accepted that fibromyalgia originates from a stress or continued stress or trauma. And I can actually vouch for it, because at the age of 21, I went and literally diagnosed with an autoimmune, same as fibromyalgia. I couldn't move for nearly a year. I spent 20 years on anti-inflammatories and painkillers, because I didn't know anything different. Nobody told me there was alternative medicines or anything out there. Until I went back, it re-erupted in my spine this time. And I went in, I sat in front of a consultant, do great jobs, and wood panelled room, and I had to go and have an MRI, and he said, yes, it's back. And I was so angry, I was like, why? Why does it keep coming back? And the guy turned around to me and said, don't know. And I went, well, you haven't learnt much in 20 years. He said, no, we haven't. And then it was then about 5 years later, suddenly, it's like, okay, obviously didn't learn very well, but the aha went, hang on a second, stress, pain, stress, inflammation, stress. Oh my God, am I doing this? And I tested it. I could, because I get a sense of when it's coming in. And from that point on, I never took another painkiller. And I've worked obviously then to continually keep my health how it should be. But so I'm now working with a lot of people with fibromyalgia and having amazing, amazing results. To the point where I had a lady at My Life with Full Life last week on Tuesday, walked in, she was 52 years old, on a walking stick. She had fibromyalgia, she had arthritis, and she had diabetic neuropathy in her feet, so numb feet. And she literally came in like this. And her feet on here. And in 10 minutes she said, I can feel. She said, actually, I do. She got out. And you go. And he had his iPhone. He is laughing. So basically, I've magnetic energy. Okay? All right? Fabulous. But if you have it longer, much gentler, and therefore so you can wear them in your shoes or whatever.
Yeah, good.
Good. All right. Same thing. But
Yeah.
You're just not using your same strength as you were before.
No,
Really?
no, definitely. Yeah, she is.
Full, like,
Believe it.
it's like
Yeah,
difference.
definitely.
It's like phenomenal that it happens. And with diabetic neuropathy with numb feet, I've had a lady, I've had quite a few, 85 years old couple, and the daughter took me to see them. And mum is, I'm sure you've seen, totally bandaged feet because they're numb feet. And with diabetic neuropathy, if you cut, you can bleed to death. No feeling whatsoever. We pop them under. About 10 minutes, this little voice piped up, I got tingling in my feet. And the daughter nearly fell off her chair. She said, you can feel that? She said, yep. So, anyway, so little diversion. Okay, my favourite. And actually, I have to say, the ones that had the pictures, no, there was one, it was yours. There was a lot of grey on yours, was that? Can I just, I'm not going to, other than that, when you're dehydrated, the first thing that goes is the skin, because obviously it dries out, so it goes hard, which is why we all grab the sun cream, all grab the creams to make them nice and moist again. So often I see somebody and they'll be completely grey, which is quite shocking. You're not too bad, but you're not drinking enough water. But the rest of you all had pretty good. I'm quite impressed actually, because normally I get about 95% dehydrated. So, anyway, so we come to water. Who drinks tap water? For lots of reasons, yeah. Obviously, tap water still has, I'm sure, I mean, you know, you pour it in a swimming pool, a variety of nice things in it, which was why I got again with the water. And the water is filtered, mineral stones, and it's alkaline because of the magnets inside. So before I do anything else, I'd like to kind of just show you what you're drinking. So if we take this one, I'm just going to pop around here a second so you can sort of block you. Okay, now basically what I'm doing is you can use them for swimming pools, you can buy it to test your own tap water, and as you can see, it's a lovely bluey colour. So on the pH scale, by law, tap water has to be in the green. That's a 7.2. Every single tap in the UK will be 7.2. By Jersey, of course. Jersey has a little issue of its own. All right. This one is actually over here, which is 8.5. Now, because of the whole issues with water, is cancer cannot exist in an alkaline body. Now, obviously, your stomach's going to have acid no matter what, but it's controlling the rest. But as we know, marketing accounts for a lot. Now, one I purchased earlier is M&S. Now, you would expect M&S to be, if I'm buying it in a bottle, it's going to be good quality water. Sparkling water. Where do you think that's going to pop up? Bear in mind, 4.2 is in the orangey acidy scale, and violet is in the alkaline scale. Where would you expect that to pop up?
5.
Anybody else? 6? 5. Why? It's a lovely orange, which basically you can have a look on here later and you'll see it's right off the acid scale. It's a 4.2. And basically, the amount I've tested, almost every single sparkling water is the same. Haven't got to the bottom of why. It must be something they do in the process. But next time you've been on the back of the bottles of water, you will see ingredients for most of them and a pH at source. Just watch for the pH at source. It's quite enlightening. Now, I think these are the best. Because people go, oh, I'm drinking water. It's got a bit of flavouring in, so I like it.
Does the Marks and Spencer one have a pH at source?
Yes, it did. Yeah, which is why I was pretty sure it was like 5.2. No, but actually no, it wasn't actually. It was 4 point something, I think. Which is why I picked it up. I thought it might be interesting.
So that source is what it'll be when you buy it?
That's what it, well,
That
with
source
these,
indication.
it should be what's on here. But then it depends on how long that's sat in a bottle, how long it's sat in storage, or worse still is in the nice summer heat. You see the little supermarkets on the corners and they stack up loads of bottles of water sat in the sunshine.
Does the sun change the pH of it?
It's the chemicals in the plastic. They leak.
React with it.
They leak into the So this one. Sorry. It's really important. This is so important subject. It's just, and the more I go into it, the more I go, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Again, flavourings, all of them, everyone I've tested, all do this. And you go, this is actually worse than tap water. It's shocking. I'm not even going to waste the time because that one's going to go even brighter. But I promised, your Brita filter, lovely. Do you want to just get a little drop of water and see where we're at with it? How many of you got Brita filters at home?
I've actually got one of these. I've also got one of the ones with the ceramic candles. Are they any better?
Don't know. I just going to see what your Brita filter does.
Oh gosh.
Alright. Okay. Fresh out the Brita from.
I've been drinking.
Happy drinking.
You might have been drinking.
Green.
Yellow.
I like green.
It actually makes it more acid. Nobody seems to understand why, what's gone on, what Brita filters are doing. It might take the toxins out, but it's making it go to the acid scale.
So is that more acid than the
Tap water,
tap water?
yes.
No.
Yeah, this is the yellow is like about 5.2. It's supposed to, the tap water is 7.2. Yes.
Terrible.
So that's what you call a good marketing ploy. Takes out toxins, but God knows what else it's doing to it. So
Can we test the tap water?
Should I
yeah, you can test the tap water. So you should have a greeny blue, hopefully. I like to be thought evoking.
What about reverse osmosis?
I have never actually tested one. Or the only thing with reverse osmosis is reverse osmosis strips everything out of it. So it's basically dead water. It's kind of almost bordering on distilled, but it's dead water. So there's no minerals. And the key thing with hydration is you need to have minerals. So you need magnesium, you need potassium, and you need sodium in order to absorb it. Which is why this one works so well.
Distilled water is very good at actually drawing toxins out of the body, isn't it?
Well, this is it. This is the whole.
Only for a short period of time.
Absolutely. So, where's my one? Okay. So we should have a greeny blue one. Oops. Quite there. So yeah. I don't know, I should have put so much in. Alright. So, bit enlightening really, isn't it? Bit, it's scary.
From the creek and test
Yeah, but the only thing is you don't know what else is this is all the issues though. It's like, you know, you've got some, with no toxins, but what, and then you've got for me, I think the Brita filter, when we were doing all these tests, was like shock horror.
Yeah.
How can it be something that's got such market penetration? Because they've marked it on the fact it takes out all the toxins.
What if you alkalise it afterwards?
Good question. You
But
could.
you know those sorry, but you know those those
magnetic-
things. You know those special things that you put the water through some type of
Yeah, it's this.
what is it?
Come on, help.
Fusion.
Yeah, it's like the oxidation.
Oxidation.
That's what we were just saying about.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
So basically, going back then, Dr. Otto Warburg won the Nobel Prize in 1931, for goodness sake, for proving that cancer cannot survive in an alkaline, oxygen-rich environment, but thrives in an acidic, low-oxygen environment. 1931. Look at us now, 2017, we're still doing the same. So, my little picture, this is one of the really not so good days for somebody. I've seen that blanket grey. Complete dehydration. And when it happens, I cannot get readings because people's hands are hard. And I used to try tap water, no different. And I actually had to use an ECG cream to fool it so that the machine could, because it would soften it so the machine could pick up the pulse. And when I started working with this, I was like into like, well, if the body absorbs things, I wonder what would happen if I washed their hands in it. So on this particular occasion, this particular lady, I said, let's do a bit of an experiment. So we went and washed our hands in this alkaline water. 2 minutes later, we managed to get a reading. Well, what does that tell you? It basically means you don't need to ingest everything here. You're ingesting it on everything you touch and come in contact with. Then you start to go, oh my God, we're cleaning stuff. Oh, I go in the bath. Where's all that chlorine going? Oh, it's going in me. And I really started I was doing all sorts of weird things. And I was like, okay, if that's the case. And I bought 2 things of daffodils. You know, they come out like a pound a bunch or something a couple of months ago. And I put one in tap water. We always put cut flowers in tap water. And I put a bunch of daffodils in the alkaline water. 4 days after the tap water, did its usual, went kind of murky green, not nice. The alkaline water was crystal clear and it kept on going down to the point where the daffodils were still going happy like Duracell batteries 2 weeks later. And you go, that's not a placebo effect. The plants like the water. And yet we're throwing tap water at it. You know, it's like, you try animals. How many animals don't drink tap water? They don't like it. You try filtered alkaline water and they'll guzzle it. Seriously. So, this, for me, says one big thing. I don't need to buy hand creams, this cream, that cream, something else. All I need to do is drink proper water, because at the end of the day, if those daffodils can keep going for 2 weeks, what's it doing to us? If we don't hydrate, all the cells are dying. That's why we get older. It's a physical manifestation. Stay young. Hydrate. Look at me. Just a mere 57 and go strong. So, any questions on the water? Any thoughts on the water?
Is it just tap water that's gone into this? And that's been
Purely tap water goes into it and it goes through the filter system. Even if it's not to do with this particular one, I mean, the whole thing about hydration. I don't think, you know, so many times I get caught up in conversations like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to drink 2 litres of water a day. How many do you drink? 2. Well, I drink coffee or I drink tea, but that doesn't hydrate you.
So what is the filter in here? Is it just these magnetic stones?
Sorry?
Is the filter in here just these magnetic stones?
No, basically there's a filter system. There's that huge unit in the back of it. Then there's mineral stones, so that's where there's 81 different minerals. So it picks up, the predominance are the potassium, magnesium. And then it goes through, there's a set of magnets which are alkaline. But yes, you can buy little versions, you can buy magnetic sticks and all that kind of thing. But it was I got the gold seal in the US. And in fact, Jenny here is from Jersey and they've got major problems with water. Old pipes, rust. What was the guy saying? And what was it? Oh, isn't iron good for you?
Dose of iron.
Can I ask you, sorry,
Yeah.
there's some type of zingonite crystals or they're black, round, pebbly type things. Are they, see, I think I'm getting a bit confused here about So you've got a water filter, which is obviously giving you lovely.
The filter water takes out all the so all your chemicals, even to the point. This takes out 97% of fluoride, although there's no fluoride issues on the island because they don't put fluoride in. But the biggest, if you've got any relatives across, particularly up around the Midlands, there's a high concentration of the water still has fluoride put in it, which is shocking. But it is.
So really, you need both things. Obviously, that's what
You
saying
need
that this
the
does.
body needs good quality water,
Mm.
but it also needs nutrients in order for it to carry out. So basically, if you don't have the nutrients and you drink the water, so like often if you drink tap water, the more you drink, the more it will go straight through you, which often is happening. But if you've got the nutrients, the body can absorb. It needs those three particularly for the body to absorb.
So if we go back to the olden days, like pre-300 years, whatever, was the water alkaline in this way naturally?
I couldn't tell you. I'll find out.
Yeah.
This is all the things. It's like what's happened over the years to create all our changes.
It's mostly the pollutions in the society we live in that's changed the texture of the water. So that, yes, it's like 60 years. I go out to Bulgaria regularly, and I love going there because when I'm eating vegetables, and everyone grows them in the village I go to, so they all give it to me. And I love eating vegetables because I'm getting all the nutritions and everything. In this country, you go to Tesco's or somewhere and you buy tomatoes and things, you're lucky to get 10. 30 years ago, there was 60 to 80 minerals in each food.
Mm.
So it's the society we live in now has brought it all down.
Mm. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So 1, 2, 3. You're with me still? Might just let go. Light. Here's another big subject. I don't think I personally really only got this one recently, strangely enough. I had the pleasure of living in Cyprus for 3 years. I lived up in the mountains for 2 years. I lived in Mallorca for 3 years. So I had a fair old hefty dose of sunshine, which I have to say I do enjoy. So the last couple of days have been wonderful. But even I didn't get the correlation with vitamin D. And now, there's research saying, it stops cancer, heart disease. But if you think about it, in the winter, all the flu, the colds, we all get them. In the summer, mostly disappear. You ever thought why? We don't get vitamin D. We're not getting vitamin D because, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to go, whoa, but I thought it was really good. This stuff. Do you put sunscreen on? Yes or no? And there's huge debates going on there because these things, not only have they got chemicals in, obviously, but they block UVB rays, which are known to obviously stop the sunburn. But what does vitamin D arrive through? UVB rays. So we're not getting our sun. So when we step out into lovely sunshine and we put all these hefty blocks on, I understand a couple of months I've been constantly sick. I'm pretty outdoors. I'm an outdoor person. You know what? I started taking a vitamin in 1 week. I felt so much better. I'm not saying you are. It's just cause one through research, and I can find it and I can send it to anybody. So if you see copper tone on the shelf, avoid it. Now, dates of introduction of lotions and sun creams and incidences of melanoma. Why is it then that as we go,
Sunscreen.
And the interesting story, since I started out of the sun, I've got a product called Entropic with oil, and I didn't wear any. Always wore. The years that I was in the sun, I was out in the sun. There's a thing to put on you. Got skin cancer. I've never put any chemicals on my body though. So I'd like to think somewhere along the line I did the right thing. Don't know why I did, but I did. My little inner voice, I guess. But there's huge, huge bucket loads of research out there. Think about when you reach for that sun cream. I was on Shanklin Beach day before yesterday, and there's all these people going. I'm thinking, oh my God, please tell me. So, throwing massively tonight, and I mean, maybe I've kind of thought about when I was putting all this together. I was thinking maybe I should do like a little mini series and take one topic at a time. I think it would be great to have some debates going. I think be phenomenal. But I'm very conscious that we're running very late this evening, so I'm running through it probably a bit too fast. Superfoods. There's so much again. What is a superfood? Someone said to me the other day, it's any food you eat that you can pick or kill, sorry for the terminology, as long as it's not pre-packaged, because it has potential, and obviously not GMOs, there's another one. But then there's a lot out there now. We look at things like turmeric, we look at garlic, we look at any of the barley grass and wheatgrass, although they're not to everybody's taste, and I must admit I have to lose mine in any kind of NutriBullet mixture that I can't taste it. But I do feel the difference. And in fact, one of the things I'd like to bring up here is different foods suit different people. So I absolutely never say do this or this. But one thing I did do is I'd always thought I was gluten intolerant and cow's milk intolerant. And I finally, again, all these massive ahas, and 3 months ago I went and had a food intolerance test. There it was. Cow's milk. Wasn't gluten, it was eggs. So every time I chomped in through a nice, croissant or whatever, my body was going, ah! And even worse than that, I was shellfish. So my prawn mayo sandwiches went out straight out the window. But it really makes you then, you're not playing Russian roulette. I was with somebody literally 2 days ago, she wanted to have a food intolerance. I took her to this place and introduced her. And it turned out, she was like cow's milk, dairy, yeast, and she's going like, so there's no wine, no that, and she's going, but for her it was wine. So she was actually, on her energy level is the same. Your energy level drops, or how many times you eat something and your stomach feels like you are 9 months pregnant. So I basically became vegan. Suddenly, poof, there I was. And do you know what? I feel absolutely better now than I've done for donkey's years, and I wish I'd done it a long time ago. So we've done a range. There are key components, especially when you talk about in relation to the truth about cancer. And because of the work I've been doing, I created Inspired for Life event in January and bought a load of complementaries and nutrition all together. Now what was amazing as a result of that, I didn't see it coming. I had the NHS came to me and said, would I sit on a long-term care review board? Because NHS is going through a great big systems review right now here on the island. So I had the pleasure of sitting on this board, which really makes you think, oh my goodness, that's the way the NHS runs, but hey. 30 NHS people and I'm the only non-one. It's like, okay, talk about battling a wall. But what it did is started to introduce me to others within the commissioning group, and we are now working on a thing to bring, with various others, complementaries more in focus, because yoga is accepted Reiki is accepted. Reflexology, the problem comes from the top, and the referrals and the gatekeepers. They're all protecting their jobs. So I'm now serving on that, and we're now working, I'm on a stakeholder review board, which is going to be looking at the whole system review, which is quite phenomenal. So I'm very optimistic that we'll have complementaries fully engaging with the NHS. But it won't be 6 months, it'll probably be a year to 2 years, they reckon, for the programme to roll. But it's quite an exciting time, finally. And suddenly then, so NHS came in, and there was a cancer trust called the Penny Braun Cancer Trust. They were at the show, and they were looking for some help. And I'm actually now training to be a facilitator for Penny Braun Cancer Trust. And these courses, Living Well with Cancer, sit right in this space, because what it does, it shows people nutrition, shows them about exercise, it shows them about mindfulness and relaxation and how that improves the body. And they run over 2 days. So if you know anybody that is currently diagnosed or living with cancer here on the island, those 2 dates, I think they're Tuesday 1 week, Tuesday the next, because they felt 2 days back to back was too much. It's at Carisbrooke Priory, and it's free to any cancer currently patients and to their carers. To me, that's amazing. I have a couple of, if you know of anybody, I can give you a couple of the brochures. It's totally free. So there's another element, suddenly all the things that we've talked about with the truth about cancer, and I'm now, instead of battling the front door, I'm now coming in the back door, and actually they've done the clinical trials, so they get referrals from the NHS. So again, it's bringing complementaries back up in line with the NHS, which is a really exciting time. So I'm sorry to have covered so much in such a short space of time. Do you have any questions?
So it's all, because I've been drinking nothing but soda water for the rehydration. Has that got minerals in it? And is it going to be the acidic pH?
I don't know. I actually, it's funny, I saw soda water the other day, actually, the first time I'd seen it in Young.
That is just sparkling water.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. So, but the next question is, so you've only noticed that correlation in the sparkling.
Is it some?
Is fine.
Flat seems to be fine, but again, it depends on what. Yeah, there's a lot of bottles that don't put the pH, and they tend to be the cheaper versions. But there are ones, Ashbourne Tesco's Ashbourne, shockingly Essentials Waitrose, and I meant to buy one of those to show you. Those are still water, but they also have a they're around 5.2. So you just literally flip the bottle over and have a look on the back. But with the soda water, hey, do a test. I've got the pH drops. Hook up with you and we'll do a test. I'd be really interested, actually.
Yeah, okay, it's the Tesco one actually. So it's
avoid Tesco Ashbourne and Essentials Waitrose, which consider what you pay for it is quite shocking. But
you can get those test kits though, can't you, in aquatic shops and places like that?
this one I actually had to get off the internet. I couldn't find it on the island, funnily enough.
Right.
But it's worth, I mean, I think it was about £3 or something.
Yeah.
It's worth doing, just to see.
Little meters as well, kind of digital, you stick it in, little probe things.
Yeah, I like that because it's a real visual. Yeah, absolutely. So I just haven't found them on the island, actually.
They do the strips in the chemist, don't they?
Oh, do they?
It depends.
On Union Street does it.
I got mine off the internet because some of the strips in the chemist, they don't give you the grading colours.
Oh, right, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so you don't get the same picture.
Wow. But interesting.
What are the mineral things, the little rocks you've got?
There's like 81. I've got a list of all the minerals that each of those stones contain.
And what is that? The
It's
Nicken,
basically
Nicken?
it's run by Nicken. I love the fact with the products that everything is biodegradable. There's no BPA leakage, nothing. So, and I just realised I completely forgot the dowsing.
no problem. We'll probably
We need to do another session on that one, I think. Yeah. Because we were talking about the magnetic fields and how you can detect them, and geostress is another thing as well.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, so I think you need to set up an evening, actually.
There will be one. I've been looking at Right Library. I was there the other night, and I was going to do a talk probably with. Sorry, names have gone at this time. The lady that runs it.
Oh, Dana.
Dana.
Dana Malecki.
And she wants me to go along and do a talk on dowsing and geopathic stress points where you shouldn't be sleeping or working in.
Yeah, and we're also, I didn't mention, we're going to do with Vectus Radio every week, every Wednesday from 12 to 1 on their lunchtime debates. Each week there'll be a different practitioner coming in to talk about what they do here on the island, because we have a wealth of talent. And that's Tony's running those. So.
Yeah, I'm organising it. We had the first one today on dowsing. Ursula's on next week on that and Thursday. And we're contacting all the different alternative medicines or complementary medicines, people to be able to come on. And it's we're looking at running it every week, 12 to 1. People can phone in. You can listen to it on your iPod or iPhone or iPad or computer.
Wherever you are.
It's done online.
So.
But next year they're going FM, so it'll be on the radio as well.
Fabulous. So thank you very much, everybody. Lovely to meet you all.
Thanks for coming over.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Where do you actually practice from then? Do you actually have a...
I'm based in Cowes, but I go all over the island. I also go across most of the south coast as well. So